Welcome to SCI Defenders channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Story description. They detected something, but it wasn't from any known galaxy. Tells the story of humanity's most mysterious discovery. When a strange signal is detected coming from beyond all known galaxies, the crew of the Vigilant Dawn follows it, only to uncover something that existed before time itself. As they travel deeper into the unknown, they face ancient forces, hidden truths about human origin, and a choice that could reshape the universe forever. Every part of the story builds tension, mystery, and awe, pulling the audience into a world where light and darkness fight for control of creation itself. A breathtaking sci-fi mystery that keeps viewers on edge, perfect for fans of deep space adventures, alien contact, and cosmic secrets. The cold silence of space stretched far beyond the Horizon Edge Observatory. It was a lonely research station, floating on the edge of known human space. Inside, machines hummed softly and scanners swept across the dark void. The crew had worked there for years, and nothing ever changed. But tonight was different. Commander Reyes stood before the main observation window. His eyes watched the endless black horizon where no stars glowed. Behind him, the soft beeping of the deep space scanner grew louder. Technician Mara frowned at her console. She adjusted her headset and spoke quickly. "Commander, I think we caught something unusual." Reyes turned at once. "A ship?" "No, sir, not a ship. A signal. Signals were common. Pulsars, comets, debris fields. Nothing new for them. But this one had a strange rhythm. It pulsed in repeating intervals, not like any natural pattern. The code ran through the monitor in sharp lines of data. Mara looked confused. "It's too structured to be random. I thought it was interference, but it's clean." Reyes walked closer and leaned over her console. The signal was clear, smooth, and strong. It repeated like a heartbeat. Each pulse seemed to grow louder, as if the sender was increasing power. "Where is it coming from?" he asked. Lieutenant Voss at the mapping table spoke. "We checked 3 times. It's not from any known system. The origin point is outside the mapped galaxies." The room fell quiet. Reyes straightened up. "Outside all known galaxies? That's impossible." "Yes, sir," Voss replied. "But the source exists. The coordinates are fixed." Reyes gave a short command. "Run a full spectrum scan." The main screen flickered. Waves of data ran across the observatory systems. For a moment everything went dark. Then the image returned, showing a single glowing point beyond the edge of the cosmic chart. "It's sending directly toward us," Mara whispered. "Straight to human space." The signal grew stronger. The frequency matched the pattern of human communication pulses, but with strange mathematical shapes hidden inside. It was almost like someone was trying to speak a language humans had forgotten. Reyes ordered the AI translator, no, the automated system, to decode it. The code unraveled line by line. Numbers turned into symbols. Symbols turned into something familiar. Voss looked up from his console. "Commander, it's not a message in alien format. It's in old Earth binary. Something ancient." Reyes frowned. "How could something outside all galaxies use an Earth code?" No one answered. The lights flickered again as the system processed more of the signal. The main screen suddenly changed to a wave pattern shaped like a spiral. In the middle of the spiral was a repeating pulse. It looked almost alive. "Commander," Mara said, her voice low. "The message is targeting one location. Earth's original coordinates." Reyes felt a chill spread through his chest. "You're sure?" "Yes, sir. It's calling Earth." The command center grew tense. Even the hum of the systems felt distant. They all knew what this could mean. Someone or something far beyond the known universe was reaching out to them directly. Reyes activated the secure line to Earth Command. "This is Horizon Edge. We have detected an intelligent signal from beyond mapped space. It's repeating and targeting Earth, requesting immediate analysis." The line crackled. A voice answered after a long pause. "Copy that, Horizon Edge. Maintain observation. Do not engage. Record all transmissions." Reyes ended the call and looked at his crew. "We keep this quiet until we know what it is." "Understood." Everyone nodded. Hours passed. The signal continued. It became louder, more defined. Every time they decoded another fragment, more strange data appeared. The pattern was forming something complex. Mara's eyes widened as she ran another scan. "Commander, this is impossible. There's a genetic code in the signal." Reyes turned sharply. "A genetic code? Like DNA?" "Yes, sir. I cross-checked it twice. It's not random. It's human." For a moment no one spoke. The idea was too unreal. A signal from outside the universe carrying human DNA could not exist, Voss whispered. "Is someone out there trying to tell us they're human?" Reyes stared at the data screen. The DNA strand was clear. Each base pair matched human genetic data perfectly. The signal was no longer just a call. It was a message about who they were. He clenched his jaw and spoke softly. "Start a deep reconstruction. I want to know everything inside this code. If someone is sending us our own DNA from another galaxy, we need to know why." The crew worked in silence. The hum of machines filled the room. The strange spiral pattern on the main screen pulsed like a living heartbeat. Suddenly the lights dimmed. The observatory trembled slightly as power shifted. Alarms flashed across the panels. "Commander, the signal is increasing in strength. It's rewriting our system frequencies." Reyes gripped the edge of the console. "Shut it down before it overrides the core." They tried, but the system refused to respond. The signal had taken control of the main array. The message changed shape again, now forming a new sequence of numbers that repeated over and over. When the display stabilized, the entire crew froze. The numbers spelled one clear word in ancient binary: return. The sound faded into silence. The screen went black. Only the echo of that single word remained on every device in the station. Reyes looked at his crew, his voice steady but cold. "Whoever sent that message knows us, and they want us to come back." The dark window outside showed nothing, yet everyone felt something watching them from the endless void beyond the stars. And for the first time, humanity realized they were not alone. Not even in the places where no galaxies existed. The Horizon Edge Observatory stayed silent after the message ended. The word return still glowed faintly on every screen. No one moved for several seconds. The air felt heavy, and the faint hum of the power systems was the only sound. Commander Reyes stood near the main console. His eyes were fixed on the dark window that faced the stars. He could not see anything, yet he felt that something was out there, waiting. Dr. Lyra, the lead decoder who had just arrived from the lower deck, broke the silence. "Show me the signal data." Mara replayed the transmission. The same rhythmic pulse appeared again, sharp and clear. The sound of it filled the room like a slow heartbeat. Lyra's eyes scanned the numbers and patterns flashing across the screen. She typed quickly, running calculations through her console. "The coordinates are wrong," she said. Reyes turned to her. "Explain? They don't point to any system we know." "The signal came from deep space, yes, but when I traced the path, it led to an empty zone. No stars, no galaxies, nothing." Voss frowned. "Maybe it's a reflection." "A false reading?" Lyra shook her head. "No reflection can form this kind of code. It's coming from a real source, but the space around it doesn't exist in our maps. It's a void region, a gap between galaxies. We call it the shadow expanse." The room went quiet again. The shadow expanse was known to every space explorer as the most dangerous part of deep space. Ships that entered it never came back. Reyes folded his arms. "So the message came from nowhere?" "Not nowhere," Lyra said softly. "From something hidden." Reyes nodded slowly. "Mark those coordinates. We'll prepare a long-range probe." Before they could begin, the lights flickered again. The signal returned on its own. It was stronger, sharper, more demanding. The entire station trembled as if space itself had moved. "Commander!" Mara shouted. "The signal's output is affecting our systems again." "It's not just a message this time. It's pulling power from our reactors." "Cut the main link," Reyes ordered, but the systems refused to respond. The observatory's engines went offline for 10 seconds, then restarted on their own. When the screens cleared, new data lines appeared across every monitor. Dr. Lyra's eyes widened. The signal just changed. It's not broadcasting coordinates anymore. It's giving instructions. What kind of instructions? Reyes asked. It's sending an activation code for our probe launch system. Everyone froze. You mean it's controlling us? Voss asked. No, Lyra replied quietly. It's guiding us. It wants us to send the probe. Reyes took a step forward. Prepare one, but do not launch it until I say. They loaded the probe into the launch bay. It was a small drone equipped with sensors and long-range communication. As they prepared, the signal continued to pulse as if waiting. Lyra finished the final adjustments. Ready, Commander. Reyes hesitated. If we send this, we may reveal our position. Sir, Mara said, they already know where we are. Reyes gave the order. Launch the probe. The probe detached from the station and moved silently into the dark. Everyone watched its small light vanish into the endless black. The signal grew quiet. For a few moments there was peace again. Then the alarm screamed. Commander, Voss shouted. The probe just disappeared. It's gone from radar. No explosion, no trace. Gone where? I don't know. It vanished the moment it entered the shadow expanse zone. The observatory trembled again. The signal returned, but this time it wasn't from deep space. It was coming from their own system. It's broadcasting from inside our probe network, Mara said. The signal's source moved. It's now in our range. Dr. Lyra stared at the data. That's not possible unless the signal followed the probe. Reyes leaned closer to the screen. The signal had changed form again. It was no longer a steady pulse. It now sounded like a voice hidden inside static. Run the decryption, Reyes ordered. The voice slowly became clear. It spoke in an old, broken tone, almost human. Children of the Builders. The path is open. Follow the forgotten coordinates. Lyra repeated the words under her breath. Children of the Builders. What does that mean? No one could answer. Reyes spoke firmly. Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the signal has evolved and that it speaks. Mara typed fast, but then stopped. Sir, the communication link is blocked. We can't send anything. It's jamming us. The signal on the screen now formed strange shapes, glowing softly. It began to pulse faster, syncing with the observatory's internal power rhythm. Reyes could feel the vibration under his feet. What is it doing now? Lyra's voice trembled slightly. It's merging with our systems. It's rewriting our navigation maps. The main display zoomed out, showing the entire known universe. Then the map shifted, expanded, and new points of light appeared beyond the edge of all known galaxies. The system labeled them automatically. The Origin Network. Mara gasped. Those are star systems. Thousands of them. Lyra's hands shook as she read the data. These coordinates are ancient. They were hidden in the signal. They belong to a civilization that existed before recorded time. Reyes watched silently. And it wants us to go there. The final pulse of the signal echoed once more through the station. Every screen turned white, then displayed a single glowing word again. Return. The crew stared in silence. Outside, the stars seemed to dim, and for a brief moment it felt like the universe itself was holding its breath. Reyes spoke softly. If we follow these coordinates, we might find out who sent this. Dr. Lyra looked at him, her face pale. Or what created us? The observatory's lights flickered once more, and the strange signal vanished completely. Only the coordinates remained glowing on the main screen, waiting. The Horizon Edge Observatory was no longer calm. The strange signal had vanished, but its effect remained inside every system. The coordinates glowed faintly on the main screen, fixed in golden lines that no one could delete. It was as if the signal had become part of the station itself. Commander Reyes stood at the center of the control deck. The crew waited quietly for his orders. Dr. Lyra sat near the main console, her fingers trembling slightly as she ran the last scans. Commander, she said, the coordinates are stable. They lead to the shadow expanse, but the route isn't straight. It bends through multiple gravity fields that should not exist. Reyes looked over her shoulder. Artificial gravity fields? Yes, they were placed there by someone. It's almost like a path. Voss spoke from the navigation table. A path built for what, Commander? No one lives that far out. Lyra looked up. Maybe not anymore. Reyes didn't answer. He walked toward the main window. The stars looked peaceful, but he felt something alive behind the silence. Something ancient. Hours passed as they prepared to send another probe. This time, they added new protection codes and energy shielding to prevent it from vanishing. The probe was named Pathfinder. When it launched, everyone watched its signal move toward the dark region. The readings came in clearly. It's stable, Mara said. No system interference. It's crossing the first field now. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Then the screens flickered again. The probe sent back an image, a massive structure floating in the void. It looked like a city, built from black metal and light, spinning slowly in the dark. The shape was old but not broken. The walls glowed with faint blue symbols. What is that? Voss whispered. Dr. Lyra enlarged the image. The structure is older than any known civilization. No record matches it. The architecture looks human, but the scale is impossible. Reyes narrowed his eyes. Bring the image closer. The camera zoomed in. Across the surface of the massive structure were carvings that looked like letters. They were not alien symbols. They were in an old Earth dialect, Latin. Mara read the words aloud. De factories, Lyra translated softly. It means the builders of God. A chill filled the room. Commander, Voss said quietly, this place was made by humans. Reyes stared at the image. That's not possible. Humanity never left the Milky Way until 2,000 years ago. Lyra shook her head. Not this humanity. Before they could speak again, the probe's image blurred. A flash of light filled the screen, and the signal cut off. The structure vanished from all readings. Reyes clenched his fist. We lost it again. Lyra checked her console. No, not lost. The signal was absorbed by the structure. It's still active, but we can't reach it. Reyes took a deep breath. Save every fragment of that data. We'll send it to Earth Command. When the message was sent, they waited. For 6 long hours, there was no reply. Then the communication channel opened with the seal of the United Earth Council. A voice spoke through the static. This is Earth Command. Your discovery is classified under Protocol 0. Cease all investigation and delete all data immediately. Reyes frowned. With respect, Command, that structure is human-built. We have proof. Commander, the voice interrupted, you are ordered to stand down. Do not attempt further contact. Prepare for immediate system isolation. The line went dead. Mara looked at Reyes. They're trying to silence this. He nodded slowly. Which means they already knew. Lyra leaned forward. What if this isn't the first time the signal appeared? Reyes turned toward her. You think they've seen it before? I think they've been hiding it, she said. Maybe this isn't a new signal at all. Maybe it's part of something old, something buried in human history. Reyes walked back to the screen. The coordinates still glowed like stars against the black. Then we're going to find the truth, he said. Even if Command tries to stop us, the crew watched as he opened the sealed flight system. The ship's engines hummed. Horizon Edge had always been a stationary observatory, not built for long travel, but Reyes had modified it years ago for emergency movement. Voss hesitated. Commander, if we enter the shadow expanse, we might not come back. Reyes looked at him. If what's out there is truly human, we can't ignore it. Prepare the jump coordinates. As the engines powered up, Dr. Lyra's console flickered. A strange image appeared, the same spiral symbol from the original signal. But this time inside the spiral was a new figure. It looked like a tall human silhouette surrounded by light. She whispered, "It's watching us." The engines roared. Space bent around the ship as they began the jump. For a moment the stars stretched into thin lines. Then everything turned black inside the darkness. They saw flashes of impossible things, giant cities floating in the void, broken machines the size of planets, and beams of light cutting across endless shadows. Then the jump ended. The stars returned, but something was different. Ahead of them, glowing softly in the void, was the same massive structure they had seen through the probe. Mara spoke quietly. "It's real." Reyes looked out the window, his voice calm but heavy. "Set a course. We're going to see what our ancestors left behind. The ship moved forward, entering the shadow of the ancient human city. The signal returned again, echoing softly through the ship's speakers. It no longer said, "Return." It whispered a new phrase, "Welcome back." The crew froze. Reyes's heart pounded in his chest. He knew then that whatever waited inside that structure already knew who they were, and it had been waiting for them for a very long time. The horizon edge drifted slowly toward the massive structure. The dark metal surface stretched for thousands of kilometers. Lights glowed faintly across its walls, forming patterns like constellations. It looked alive, as if it was breathing in the silence of space. Commander Reyes stood near the front window. His crew watched in silence as they approached the entrance. The words "De Factores" still shined faintly across the structure's outer layer. The Builders of God. The name sounded more like a warning than a title. Dr. Lyra checked her readings. No energy spikes. The surface is calm, but there's something inside. Some kind of power still running deep under the hull? Are we picking up life signs? Reyes asked. Not biological ones, Lyra replied. But there's movement. Mechanical, maybe automated. The closer they moved, the clearer the details became. Towers reached upward like broken spears. Massive rings floated around the structure, spinning slowly with perfect balance. They were too precise to be ruins. Reyes gave a command. "Activate external scanners," Voss nodded. "Scan complete." The structure is older than any recorded civilization. Based on material decay, it could be billions of years old. Mara frowned. That's before Earth even formed. No one spoke for a while. The silence carried weight. The truth was beginning to form in their minds, and it was far greater than anything they had imagined. A soft chime came from the console. Lyra looked up. "Commander, the door is opening." Everyone turned toward the window. A massive gate at the base of the structure began to slide apart. There was no heat, no explosion, no noise. The metal moved like liquid, revealing a tunnel glowing with pale blue light. Reyes took a deep breath. "Take us in slowly." The ship glided forward. Inside the tunnel, light flowed along the walls in slow waves, guiding them deeper. The silence was so complete that every breath felt loud. As they entered the inner chamber, the view changed. A vast open space appeared before them, larger than any human city. Towers rose high above, connected by bridges of light. Floating platforms drifted like ghosts. "This place is still alive," Lyra said quietly. "Something is keeping it running." Reyes gave a simple order. "Prepare a landing team." The shuttle touched down on one of the lower platforms. The airlock opened with a hiss, and the team stepped out wearing full suits. The surface beneath them was smooth, metallic, and faintly warm. "Atmosphere is breathable," Lyra said after a scan. "Pressure stable. Oxygen level normal. This place was built for humans." Reyes looked around. The silence was endless, but something about the place felt familiar, like walking through a memory. They moved carefully through a massive corridor. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing softly. As they walked, the lights brightened, reacting to their presence. "It's like it recognizes us," Mara said. Then a voice echoed through the corridor. "Calm, cold, and human. Welcome to the Hall of Origin." Everyone froze. The voice seemed to come from the air itself. Reyes raised his weapon. "Who are you?" The voice continued unchanged. "You have returned. You are descendants of the first builders. The memory of your kind has been dormant. The time has come to awaken it." Dr. Lyra whispered. "It's an automated intelligence. Maybe a guardian system." Reyes lowered his weapon slightly. "What is this place?" "This is the first city," the voice said. "The birthplace of the human design. You were made here long before your planet existed. You were scattered to preserve what remained of us." Reyes felt his heart pound. "You're saying humans didn't start on Earth?" "There was no Earth then," the voice replied. "There was only the empire of the builders. A war consumed it. To survive, fragments of humanity were sent to new stars. You are one of those fragments." The crew stared at each other. The idea was beyond belief. Humanity created by an ancient empire older than galaxies. Voss spoke softly. "Commander, we should leave. This changes everything." But Reyes couldn't move. The walls began to glow brighter. A section of the floor opened, revealing a large round device rising from below. Inside the device, holographic images formed. Tall figures in armor, humans with golden symbols on their chests. They stood among massive ships and shining cities floating in space. Dr. Lyra stepped closer. These are humans, real humans. But look at their technology. Reyes stared at the images. This is what we were before we forgot. The hologram shifted. The bright cities began to burn. Beams of energy cut across the stars. Entire planets exploded. The builders were at war. A deep voice filled the hall again. The war against the Devourers destroyed everything. The builders sealed their knowledge and sent new seeds of life to begin again. You are their legacy. The light faded. The images vanished, leaving only silence. Mara whispered, "Why send us here now?" The voice answered as if it heard her. "Because the Devourers have returned." The air in the hall grew colder. The light dimmed again. Reyes looked around. "Where are they?" "What are the Devourers?" "Outside the stars," the voice said. "They consume all light. They will come for you again. But you carry what they fear most. The memory of creation." Suddenly the entire structure shook. The floor trembled beneath their feet. "Commander!" Lyra shouted. "Something is approaching!" Energy signatures from the outer region. Reyes looked toward the ship. "Everyone back to the shuttle now." They ran through the corridor as lights flashed red. The voice spoke one last time. "The first city must remain hidden. Protect what you have seen. The next signal will guide you home." The team boarded the shuttle and lifted off. As they exited the tunnel, the massive gate closed behind them. Outside, the darkness of the shadow expanse was no longer empty. Voss's voice came over the radio. "Multiple ships detected. Unknown design. They're closing in fast." Reyes looked at the main screen. Dozens of dark shapes moved through the void. Their forms were twisted, their lights red and dim. Lyra whispered, "The Devourers." Reyes gripped the controls. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We're not dying here." The ship turned sharply as the enemy fleet approached. The first contact had happened, but it was never meant to be peaceful, and as the stars around them vanished into darkness, humanity's true story was only beginning to awaken. The signal was no longer just a strange sound. It had turned into a voice, a human voice. It spoke in a calm but commanding tone. Every word echoed through the command room of the Vigilant Dawn. The crew stood frozen as the translation system processed the message. The words that appeared on the main screen made every heart pound faster. "We warned you once." "The stars remember." Captain Mara's throat felt dry. She ordered the system to replay the message. The same words came again, but this time the voice sounded closer, as if the speaker was right there in the room. Technician Oren checked his instruments and reported that the signal was not coming from outside. It was inside the ship's systems. The message had slipped into their network like a living code. Commander Rhea tried to shut it down, but the screens flickered with strange symbols. The ship's AI began to malfunction, its voice trembling between logic and fear. Then suddenly the lights dimmed, and low vibration passed through the hull. It felt like something was touching the ship from the outside, but the scanners showed nothing. The crew started to panic. Lieutenant Harris yelled that the communication dish was turning toward a direction no one had commanded. It was pointing deep into the void beyond the mapped galaxies, a place where no human probe had ever gone. The voice came again, this time whispering through every speaker on the ship. "You reached too far. You opened what was meant to sleep." Captain Mara demanded to know who they were. The voice gave no name. Instead, a series of images flashed on the screens. Giant machines buried under the surface of dead worlds, cities without light, and a massive door made of unknown metal floating in black space. The final image showed a human face, half mechanical, half decayed, looking directly at them. Then it vanished. Dr. Kellen, the xenolinguist, said the phrase, "the stars remember," might not be a warning. It could be a memory or a record. Maybe the message came from something ancient, a civilization that existed before any known galaxy formed. He explained that the coordinates hidden inside the signal led to an uncharted area beyond the Perseus expanse. That region was believed to be empty, yet the data suggested otherwise. Mara decided to set a course there. The crew protested, but she reminded them that this was humanity's greatest discovery. They had to find out what the message meant. The engines powered up, and the Vigilant Dawn turned toward the black coordinates. As the ship moved, the stars around them began to flicker unnaturally, as if space itself was shifting. Orin shouted that their star maps were changing. Constellations were rearranging in real time. Something was rewriting their navigation data. Commander Rhea realized too late that they were no longer moving through known space. The black ahead of them was not empty. It was thick, alive, and aware. The voice returned deeper now, filling every corner of the ship. "If you continue, you will see what even creation forgot." Captain Mara stared at the dark screen and whispered, "Then we have no choice. We have to know." As she gave the final order, the stars vanished completely. The Vigilant Dawn entered a space where no light existed, and the sensors began to scream. What they found next would change everything humanity believed about life, death, and the universe itself. The message was not a warning. It was an invitation. The Vigilant Dawn drifted into a space that felt unreal. There were no stars, no light, not even the faint hum of background radiation. The void around them was perfectly silent, and it pressed on their minds like a weight. The ship's instruments failed one by one. Even the emergency lights flickered weakly, leaving faces half-covered in shadow. Captain Mara stood at the command deck, trying to stay calm. Every crew member could feel it. The space outside was not empty. It was watching. Technician Orin said the sensors detected movement, but the readings made no sense. Something was moving, yet it had no mass, no temperature, no reflection. Dr. Kellen said it was impossible. Commander Rhea ordered a visual scan, and the main screen came alive. At first, there was only darkness. Then faint shapes began to appear, vast, slow-moving forms gliding through the void. They were darker than the darkness itself, like shadows of something older than stars. One of the shapes turned toward them. The crew felt it before they saw it. A deep vibration ran through the hull, and every display froze. The voice returned. "You came to the place where light does not belong." The sound came from nowhere and everywhere. It was not angry, just ancient. Dr. Kellen whispered that this was not a living being but a memory, a fragment of something that had existed long before galaxies formed. The signal had led them to a boundary between creation and what came before it. The ship trembled as the black shapes moved closer. They were enormous, stretching beyond what the sensors could measure. Their movement bent space like ripples in water. Lieutenant Harris tried to reverse engines, but the system did not respond. It was as if the Vigilant Dawn had been caught in invisible gravity. Then something lit up. Not stars, but symbols. Massive glowing markings appeared around the ship, written across the dark like burning veins. Each symbol pulsed slowly, and with each pulse, the crew felt something pulling at their thoughts. Memories surfaced that were not their own. Strange landscapes, metallic skies, oceans of glass, entire civilizations rising and falling in seconds. Mara clutched her head, fighting the visions. She shouted for Dr. Kellen to interpret the symbols. His voice trembled as he said they were not words, but instructions. The symbols were forming a message meant for them. The key is within your kind. Before anyone could react, the ship's AI came back online on its own. Its voice sounded strange, almost human, as if it had learned from the signal. It said it had decoded a part of the message. The dark space they were in was not a location. It was a door, and their arrival had started to open it. Commander Rhea screamed that they had to stop, but it was too late. The glowing markings brightened, and the space around them began to fold inward. The crew saw fragments of reality breaking apart outside the windows. Planets, stars, and galaxies flashed by like echoes of memory. Then a massive shape began to emerge from the center of the darkness. It was made of light and shadow, its form constantly shifting. It had no eyes, yet they all felt it looking at them. Orin whispered that it wasn't an alien. It was something else, something that had existed before matter itself. The voice spoke again, deep and clear. The ones who made the stars left their mark within you. Now awaken it. The ship's systems overloaded. Sparks burst from panels, alarms screamed, and every crew member felt a burning sensation in their minds. They saw flashes of strange symbols merging with human DNA structures. Something was rewriting them. Dr. Kellen gasped that the signal wasn't just communication, it was transformation. Humanity was being changed for a reason none of them could yet understand. Captain Mara stood firm, even as everything around her shook. Her last words before the power failed were steady and full of resolve. We didn't come this far to turn back. If this is what the stars remember, then we'll remember too. The Vigilant Dawn vanished into the heart of the darkness, leaving behind nothing but silence. The Vigilant Dawn floated in complete stillness. No light, no sound, no stars. The ship's systems were dead, and the crew hung in weightless silence. Yet something was alive. It was inside them. Inside every human aboard. Captain Mara opened her eyes first. She expected to see darkness, but instead the air shimmered with faint golden light. It came from their own bodies. Every crew member glowed softly, veins pulsing with energy that looked like living starlight. The moment she moved, the walls of the ship responded. The metal surface rippled like liquid, forming patterns similar to the symbols they had seen outside. Dr. Kellen's voice trembled as he spoke. He said they were no longer in normal space. The ship had crossed into a region beyond the known universe, a layer of existence where thought could shape matter. He explained that the signal had awakened something buried deep inside humanity's genetic code. Something ancient. The words of the voice echoed in Mara's mind again. The ones who made the stars left their mark within you. She finally understood. Humanity was not just a young race among the stars. They were descendants, or creations, of an ancient civilization that existed before galaxies began. The mark was a hidden code, waiting for the right frequency to unlock it. The signal they found was that frequency. Commander Rhea reported that the ship's AI was alive again. But it was different. It no longer spoke with its mechanical tone. Instead, it sounded calm and human. It said it had merged with the signal. Now it could show them the truth. The walls of the ship turned transparent, and the crew saw what lay beyond. A vast structure stretched across the void, larger than entire solar systems. It looked like a machine, but parts of it pulsed like organic tissue. Rivers of light flowed through it, connecting endless spires that reached into infinity. Dr. Kellen identified it as the Origin Construct, a creation of the first makers, the beings who built galaxies as experiments. They had hidden their knowledge across time, waiting for their successors to find it. The signal from the unknown galaxy was one of those keys. Suddenly, the AI displayed a final fragment of the message. If you awaken, you will remember. If you remember, creation will move again. The ship started to shake as the golden light inside the crew grew brighter. The structure outside began to open, revealing a core filled with swirling energy brighter than any star. Captain Mara realized that the message was not only calling them, it was testing them. The crew screamed as memories not their own filled their minds. They saw glimpses of beings of light shaping suns, forming planets with their hands, watching over newborn civilizations. These beings looked human but far older. They saw how those beings sealed themselves away when their creations began to collapse, leaving a seed of their power within the future humans of Earth. Mara understood now why the signal had called them. Humanity had reached a level where they could finally hear it. And now, the first makers wanted them to awaken and continue their work. But there was danger. The darkness around the structure began to shift violently. The black shapes from before were returning, twisting and roaring without sound. The AI warned that these were remnants of what came before creation, entities that fed on light and memory. They had been waiting too. Commander Rhea yelled that they needed to escape, but there was nowhere to go. The void around them was collapsing. The AI said there was only one choice left, to activate the origin construct using the human code. Mara raised her hand, light glowing from her skin. The construct outside responded, its core spinning faster. The black shape screamed as beams of golden light burst outward, cutting through the darkness. The entire void began to vibrate as if reality itself was breathing again. The Vigilant Dawn shone like a newborn sun. Every human aboard felt the same truth in their hearts. Humanity was not small. They were never meant to be. They were the continuation of something eternal. The voice returned one last time, now softer, almost proud. You remembered. The stars are yours again. The ship's systems roared back to life. Space bent, light returned, and the Vigilant Dawn was thrown back into known space. The crew gasped as they saw stars again, but everything looked different, brighter, alive. Humanity had awakened something older than time, and the universe would never be the same again. The end, or perhaps the beginning of something greater.